In this video, we're going to go over the operator message step. There are three types of operator message steps. The default is used to display messages or instructions to the operator. Dialog will display a yes or no prompt, and the operator must select one. And a numeric will prompt the operator to actually enter an integer. Units and axes can be set, and this integer can be used later in SoundCheck. Now let's take a look in SoundCheck. I have a new sequence opened, and over here in the step templates, we're going to expand the messages section. I'm going to select operator message and drag it into my sequence. I'll double click on it, and over here in the left, you can see we have operator message type selected. Near the bottom, there are checkboxes for numeric and dialog. Because neither of those are actually checked off, we're just using a default message step type. Here in this box is where we type the message we want displayed to the operator. And when this step runs, we get an operator message that says "Hello World." Let's open this message step back up. There's an option here to format the text. I can change the size of the font, adjust the color, or make the text bold, italic, underlined, or strike through. I'll just select everything, then run the sequence again. Our message reflects those format changes. I'm going to open up another sequence to show how to use wait for confirmation in message steps. This is a very simple sequence. The first step is an operator message step, then we recall some curves and display them. So I'm going to edit my operator message step and write press enter to run sequence. Now when I run the sequence, you can see in the toolbar the continue button is flashing and it still says we're on step 1. I'll click enter and the sequence finishes. So how do we actually set that up in SoundCheck? If we right click on the step, there's an option to configure. We'll click on that, and the first two items are what give it this behavior. Let's see what happens if we uncheck wait for confirmation. I run the sequence again, and it jumps right to the end. Because wait for confirmation is disabled, it just displays the step and then moves on. Down here in the settings, there's an option to wait. If we check this up, we can specify in milliseconds how long the step will wait for. Now let's edit the text of the message step to reflect different behavior. For example, this could be used to account for the settling time of a loudspeaker, or to allow an operator to close the door in a chamber. Now, when we run our sequence, our message step lasts 2 seconds, and then our sequence concludes. Now let's look back at the pass or fail settings of the message step. As we were running the test before, you could see the number of the step highlighted in green, because this step was set to pass. These default types of operator message steps will either pass or fail all the time, depending on what you have selected here. The step turns red, but then nothing else happens. This is all a result of the step configuration settings. And you can see it's set to halt on fail. Whenever this step fails, the entire sequence will stop. This setting isn't particularly useful the way we're using the message step now. However, if we switch the message step to a dialog, we can use these pass or fail settings to control the flow of the sequence. When we change to dialog, we get a new option for default yes or no value. Let's change the text to ask the operator if they want to run the test. And we'll leave the default value as yes. Now we'll run the sequence. It asks if we want to run the test, and we can select yes or no. Because the default value is yes, the yes value is highlighted, so hitting enter will automatically select that. Otherwise, you could use the F2 key for yes, the F4 key for no, or click on them. I do want to run this test, so I'll click yes. You can see the step indicator change to green for a pass, and the sequence runs. If we select no, the indicator is red, and the sequence doesn't run. If we look at the step configuration options again, we can see there's other options here to jump on pass or jump on fail. Right now how it's currently set, it will either run on pass or completely stop on fail. Instead, you could change the logic to jump to different parts of the sequence depending on if we say yes or no in this message step. Now let's go back to the message step and look at the numeric message type. You can see the default value changes to a number. It then allows you to select the axis and input any units. When this step runs, it will output this value to the memory list. Let's ask the operator to enter the playback level of the amplifier. We click on Units. We can select linear values and input our unit. And if we choose log, we can select commonly used dB references. I'll just leave this as linear, set it to volts, and I'll put a default value in of 500 milli. Now when I run the test, it prompts me to enter the level. I'll leave it at 500, hit enter, and finish the sequence. If we open up the memory list and look at the values tab, this value will always have the name of the message step that created it in the sequence. If we want to change that, we could right-click on our message step and select Rename. To actually get this to change in the memory list, I'll need to open and then re-close the message step. I'll run the test again, and now it'll change to 400 millivolts. I open this value in the memory list, and you can see it's now 400 milli instead of 500 milli. These numeric message steps have a lot of possibilities to use in SoundCheck. You can set stimulus levels, you could set stimulus frequency ranges, you could use post-processing steps to add a certain value. Any step that uses a memory list item can use this.